British Columbia here today? Anyone from BC? Oh, a whole bunch of people. Wow, okay, so there's lots of people ask hard questions. That's going to be great. No worries. So we do a very brief crash course version of BC history in here. I use my coat of arms here behind me to do that. So the first two symbols we need to remember on the coat of arms are these two animals on the side. They each represent a part of British Columbia, because before we were a province as a part of Canada, we were two colonies in the British Empire. So we had a colony here on the island, the colony of Vancouver Island, represented by the elk on the left, and then a colony on the mainland, so the continental part of British Columbia, the colony of British Columbia, that's represented by our ram on the right. So on the left, our colony on Vancouver Island, that was mainly fur traders who were here, mainly folks from the Hudson's Bay Company. Don't know if anyone's seen them where they are in the mall downtown now, but just across the street from that is where they first established Fort Victoria here in 1843. So a very important company for this area here. And then over on the mainland, a lot of the folks that came there originally were as part of the gold rush. So of course the gold rush started down in California, but made its way up here when gold was found in our Fraser River in 1858. So in that very same year, that second colony was established over on the mainland. So that's why at the beginning it did make sense to have these two separate colonies governed separately. They were both bringing in a good deal of money for the British Empire, so that was all good with them. But soon the gold rush died down, and you don't see quite as many people wearing furs these days. So as you can imagine, these two colonies, they were going pretty broke, and very quickly. So they needed to look for some new options. So by the time 1871 rolls around, they essentially have three different things to choose from. Their first choice was to stay the colony of British Columbia, united together at this point, and part of the British Empire. The second choice, which was rather popular at the time, was to join the United States. The United States actually offered to build British Columbia a wagon trail to connect it up the coast of the US. But the third option came from the new Dominion of Canada. Canada offered to take on all of our debt and build us a railroad. So I think you guys know how that story ends. So that's why in 1871, British Columbia became the 6th province in the new Dominion of Canada. So that's your very brief crash course version of why we are in Canada and in British Columbia here in Victoria today. So we can fill out a couple more elements of this coat of arms behind me here. At the very top, we have one more animal there. He's a very important one. Already, you can probably tell from the fact that it's a lion wearing a crown and standing on a crown, rather fancy. So that is called the Royal Crest, and that represents the monarchy here in Canada. So we are a constitutional monarchy in Canada, and our monarch is Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who, well, maybe more famously, being the Queen of England, she is also the Queen of Canada. In fact, our queen, a rather busy lady, she is the queen of 16 different countries around the world. So that's a pretty busy job for anybody. Never mind, I believe, a 93-year-old. So thankfully, yes, she has some representatives around the world, some helpers to do some of that work for her. So over in Ottawa, at our national level, she has someone called the Governor General. And then in each of the provinces, we have someone called the Lieutenant Governor to represent our queen. So they have a lot of very important jobs, these folks, but probably the most important one is called giving royal assent. Royal assent is very important and very dramatic, and it looks just like this. Are you ready? That is royal assent. So royal assent, a ceremonial job, sure, but it is what allows for the bills that we pass upstairs in the legislative chamber that we're going to see in just a little bit to fully become laws. So a very important ceremonial step. Yeah. We've got a couple other elements on this coat of arms I'd like to point out to you. This one here at the bottom, this is our Latin motto. For all of the folks these days who speak Latin. For the rest of us, Splendor sine occasu means beauty without diminishment. Beauty without diminishment. There's actually another way that we say this around British Columbia that you see every single day that you are in BC. Do any of my British Columbians maybe know it? Beautiful. Beautiful British Columbia, yes. So that's what's on our license plates. So good luck not seeing that for the rest of your trip. Are there any questions at this point? I know I'm going rather quick in here. No worries, we're all set. Well, we're actually going to head upstairs then. This big hole in the ceiling is about to become our hole in the floor. So I'm going to take the stairs and the